So I've been using Codex pretty much full time the last 2 months solid, and recently the last 3 days I've been using GPT5. So with Codex, the best way to have success with it is to kind of use a context or a task, whatever, and then get rid of it as soon as possible, because as soon as your task complete, then it starts to degrade. So you want to kind of wipe that task and start a fresh one. And also I found that in a task, you can sometimes just do multiple delivery items within one task, or you can like focus on one tricky one. So like if it's a complicated task, then normally that's the task that I'll do, and then I'll shut down the task. And then sometimes you can do like 2 or 3 small ones in the one go. That's what I typically do. It really helps to explain things as simply as possible. Don't kind of assume it knows what it's doing, and often it will kind of do the first thing you ask for it, and sometimes it will ignore later things, or even sometimes it will do the later things and ignore the things you did before it if it's not related. So Codex does really kind of excel at the sort of beginning stages of projects, or if the tasks are sort of junior to even mid-level kind of developer things. As soon as you start getting to really complicated things, that's where you basically can start to run into some kind of issues. But probably the most important thing is that you need to like understand the code that you're doing. Ideally, you'd be able to hand code it if you were like a normal, well-paid developer like back in the day, be able to do it from scratch. Because if you don't understand the code that it's being produced, then that can really run into big issues pretty soon. For the last 3 days since I've been using GPT-5, I've hardly even used Codex, because the intelligence kind of is a bit of an increment beyond GPT-4, but it's such a big leap over, say, Codex for complicated tasks. Like for example, I had some complicated code that I was using for like Amazon and DynamoDB, and then there was some paging problems, and Codex honestly didn't have a clue at it. So I was back and forth with GPT-5. The limit at which GPT-5 starts to crash, like when you're pasting like thousands of lines of code in there and you're asking it questions back and forth, I found that it reaches that limit pretty soon, well, maybe 50% quicker than GPT-4 is, where you actually have to like shut down the tab, refresh it. Maybe you'll get a couple more attempts until you have to actually delete the context. It still is kind of lazy compared to like GPT-4. I mean, both of them are kind of lazy sometimes. You have to tell it, give us the full code. I don't want to like manually copy paste, like patch parts of the code in there. But with like Codex, that's like the workhouse. It's kind of not lazy. There's definitely still a need for senior developers, and there's definitely still a need for junior and mid-level developers being like brought up to learn the code, because you couldn't run an enterprise application that's critical by just trusting in the AI would be completely lost. You know, you can just tell it, build this AI, this application that has like 50 features and 40 database tables, and you just can't go about it that way. But you can get there quicker if you know what you want, you know what kind of code you want. So I think that as a developers nowadays, you pretty much have to, it's going to be like word of mouth, because if you're successful with AI, but you're just trying to have a CV out there, like, people don't really see as CVs nowadays. It's pretty much, you've got to be able to have like a proven track record with happy clients, word of mouth. There's still a lot of human skill involved in building, you know, applications, and I don't really see like how that changes, because if you know how to build a full stack application, you got happy clients, too much risk in going to like unknown quantities.